back to my video reviews. This time I picked Children of the Corn, 1984. What a good year that was. So, Children of the Corn, horror movie based on a novel by Stephen King. It starred Linda Hamilton and Peter Horton and the late R.G. Armstrong. It's a great movie, very scary for its time. So this movie actually caused me sleepless nights when I was a kid, when I first watched it. Probably wouldn't scare people now because just a different level of movies and stuff like that. But this movie was one of those movies where it's scary because it's realistic. I would say it's realistic, kind of like, what would be the other best way of saying it? The Silence of the Lambs style realistic. You know, so this is like a low budget horror, but that gives it very good quality, which I find are some of the best movies, you know. So like a lot of John Carpenter's movies are like that. They're very like quite low budget, but they're absolutely fantastic, and sometimes they have brilliant actors who made their careers out of those movies, you know. So yeah, Children of Corn. So I have a certain collection of DVDs because I'm quite retro. I like old stuff. DVDs are old now, aren't they? Because everyone's streaming everything. But there's a couple of movies I just like to keep on DVD, and this is one of them. There's the cover. So as you can see, it's the traditional cover, front and rear. It's got old Isaac on there. Remember the character Isaac from this movie. And it's also got a turnable cover, which gives you an alternate cover, which is pretty cool. Yep, so the movie itself is based around a couple that are trying to travel across like some back roads in the States, and they come across a town, and the town is very quiet at first. They can't find anybody. It all seems very strange, and they keep getting warned not to go to this Gatlin. The people of Gatlin have got religion. Don't go to Gatlin. Almost like talking about a cult-like status maybe. So they go obviously onto the road. Spoiler alert, you know, because most people have seen these movies anyway, guys. These just movies I like. They're movies that I can watch again and again. I do like these movies. They come across a injured, well, a now deceased child on the road, and they take him to the nearest town, which is Gatlin. But obviously they're struggling to find this town. So when they do find it, they find it pretty much deserted. And that's where the story really goes into what happened in Gatlin. A child shall lead them. Basically, a child comes to the town, a child preacher, and he starts preaching about something called He Who Walks Behind the Rows of corn, because there's a lot of cornfields in Gatlin and farming. And obviously, He Who Walks Behind the Rows is this demon which is controlling this young preacher. And he manages to convince the children, obviously, that they don't need the adults, that they can function on their own. And as soon as they become adults, they have to sacrifice themselves to He Who Walks Behind the Rows. So, you know, long story short, he ends up persuading the children to eliminate their parents. So the whole town is eliminated. The young couple on the road, I think it's Bert and I can't remember the name of Linda Hamilton's character plays again, but they're on the road together and they find this town, and they basically start getting hunted down in this town. Their car gets damaged, they can't get out of the town, and these children are desperate to kill them because they know what's going on. No word is getting out about this town. This town has become functioning on its own through the children, which is probably the unrealistic part of the movie. But the realistic part of the movie is the fact that someone could persuade others, almost like a cult, stuff like that, can persuade others to do things. That's quite a scary concept, and I find children in horror is always quite a scary thing. You know, I don't know what it is. There's something creepy about children doing evil things, isn't there, in movies? But yeah, so they have to solve this problem, and they're trapped in this town. It is a good movie. It's somewhat based on religion as such. There's a lot of religious artifacts throughout the movie, and a lot of satanic, looks like satanic bits and bobs throughout the movie as well. It is a good movie. Linda Hamilton is a brilliant actress, isn't she? She really plays a good part in the movie. And the two killers, the guy who plays Isaac and the guy who plays Malachi, they are absolutely fantastic. Isaac comes across his acting in this film was brilliant. He really came across as a preacher you'd believe, and he knew what to say, what to do, and how to twist these children's minds. And it seems like the character Malachi, who's like his henchman, was already more than willing to kill, or had tendencies to be violent, because he seems to really embrace the violence in the movie, and he seems to be like everyone keeps mentioning someone who got killed in this movie throughout the film, with the adults and stuff like that, like the Blue Man, who's obviously the town sheriff or whatever, and they keep mentioning what happened to the Blue Man, and it was like Malachi, and the character who plays Malachi, he's fantastic. He looks so evil in this movie. He's probably a really nice person in real life, as is Isaac most probably, to sit down and talk to, but in this movie you really get the feeling that they are really, really evil, and it's great. There's quite a tense movie. The battle in the end at the cornfield is really, really good, because there's a story about how the Blue Man, obviously the Blue Man who I've said to you has got to be the sheriff and stuff, like who was trying to originally stop this from happening, but got overcome by Malachi. He had a plan of how to deal with this, and in the end they have to engage that plan in order to save the day, sort of thing. Yeah, but it's another road movie. I do like road movies. I call them road movies. It's movies where it's on the road and you're alone, like The Hitcher, Duel, movies like that, where you're just on the lonely road. This is how this movie starts. They're travelling somewhere. I think he's a doctor, and they're travelling on their way to somewhere, and like you say, they find this young boy on the road who's lost his life, and it looks like he's lost his life through murder. And yeah, it goes from there. It spirals out from there. Something that makes this movie, that makes a lot of horror movies, and I'm sure many of you will agree, which makes a horror film scary, sometimes isn't even the film, it's the music. I remember being scared by the music from the original Omen. This film, the music, that orchestral, satanic, almost some partly church-like music, is actually so scary. It really does put fear into you. I remember hearing it in the first Omen movie, and when they're driving towards the church, and Damien starts screaming, that sort of music. And the Omen 2, when you keep seeing the blackbird or the crow, whatever it was, that was really scary. And like you say, that sort of music is what makes movies like this. It really is such great music. So it's a good movie all in all. I really like this movie. I've never read the book. I may do that one day, because I do like reading the books, but I've never read the book. But yeah, it's a Stephen King movie. I really like it. It's really worth watching, even if it's old now. You've got to keep old movies alive, haven't you? That's what I say, because with all these new movies coming out now, the effects are so made, aren't they, designed, that you don't really get much, I can't explain myself, much good imagination as you used to, I don't think. So thank you for watching the review. I hope to see you on the next one. And remember, never stop in Gatling. Like, subscribe and share. Thank you.